For many, he was just a crazy dreamer, but for others, he was a great genius of his time. The truth is that even today, his innovations resonate in our society. In today's episode of The Hero's Journey, we will detail the surprising story full of highs and lows of this eccentric personality named Nikola Tesla. Tesla was born in 1856 in Smiljan, in what is now Croatia, to parents of Serbian ethnicity. He studied electrical engineering at the University of Graz in Austria, and at the age of 26 moved to Paris to work for the great American Thomas Edison at the Continental Edison Company. 2 years later, he was transferred to the company's headquarters in New York with the task of redesigning Edison's machines, as he recounts in his autobiography written when Tesla was 63 years old. In the book, he mentions that as a child he had hallucinations, images accompanied by strong flashes of light, which were later replaced by very well-defined outlines of his inventions after he turned 17. In fact, in a passage from his autobiography, he said that, "I change the design, make improvements, and operate the equipment in my mind. For me, it makes no difference whether I test my turbine in thought or in the lab. When I visualize it, I can tell if it is unbalanced." In 1 year, he perfected all 24 machines that the manager of Edison Machine Works had presented him, and for which he was promised a $50,000 bonus if improved. During that period, the young man worked 18.5 hours a day, from 10:30 a.m. to 5 a.m. the next day. That's according to his autobiography, only to find out that the manager's comment was a joke, which he had taken literally. Obviously, Tesla resigned. One of his main discoveries, alternating current, led to a years-long dispute with Edison, who patented direct current. Its operation and applications, the Tesla turbine, the induction motor, and the high-voltage transformer, he conceived while still living in Paris. He tried to convince Edison to bet on the idea, but only after leaving the company was he able to implement what he had been holding in his head for years. For this, he allied himself in the second half of the 1880s with George Westinghouse, owner of the Westinghouse Electric Company, who financed the project. Direct current is the one that flows, for example in batteries, constantly flowing between the negative and positive poles. In alternating current, the poles are reversed at every moment, and the electricity runs in a zigzag. The innovation changed the concept of electricity and created the notion of power. Tesla patented energy distribution system, which used high-voltage transformers, allowed electricity to travel long distances, according to current scientists. With this technology, in 1895, Tesla and Westinghouse built the first modern hydroelectric power plant at Niagara Falls. The technology was still used today. Before, the generation sites needed to be close to consumption centers. Niagara changed that. It distributed to Toronto, Boston, Philadelphia, places hundreds of kilometers away. The inauguration of the plant is one of the chapters of the current wars, the dispute that dragged on for years between Tesla and Edison, who did not believe in alternating current and even campaigned against it. This ego dispute intensified both of their research and made them work harder on their projects. But imagine if they had joined forces and worked together for longer. Despite the controversies, the two inventors had a cordial rivalry. Contrary to what many people think, they were not enemies. In fact, they exchanged letters for years. The curiosity is that in one of those innovations, in 1990, Thomas Edison used his influence to use alternating current in the first human execution ever performed in an electric chair. The shot backfired. The executioners at Auburn Prison in New York did not know how to handle the current, and the tension constantly fell. After 2 minutes of an unpleasant spectacle, the room smelled of burnt flesh, and William Kemmler, the condemned, was still not dead. Some witnesses, however, had already fainted. In any case, despite the criticisms and opposition to his work, Tesla always liked to exhibit extravagant demonstrations of his experiments. He was considered the showman of science at the time. Tesla became immortalized as a scientist full of quirks. He himself recounts in his autobiography that he had an aversion to women's earrings, did not like touching other people's hair, counted his own steps, and calculated the volume of his soup bowls and coffee cups. However, he was considered a bon vivant. He circulated through the parties and dinners of New York's high society and was close to personalities such as writer Mark Twain and billionaire John Jacob Astor, who allowed him to live for years in his luxurious Waldorf Astoria. He had no girlfriends, never married or had children, but gathered a legion of female friends with whom he exchanged letters, including Katherine Johnson, wife of writer Robert Underwood Johnson, and Corinne Roosevelt, sister of President Roosevelt. According to researchers, many speculated that Tesla was homosexual, but he exchanged gallant letters with these women. The scientist became a celebrity with the pyrotechnic demonstrations of his inventions. He even passed 200,000 volts through his own body to show how his coil worked in an 1893 presentation at a theater in St. Louis in front of 4,000 people. In 1901, Tesla began his most ambitious project, which he never managed to realize. With a loan of $150,000 from banker John Pierpont Morgan, he bought a large plot of land on Long Island, built a laboratory, and erected a tower. Named Warden Cliff, he wanted to find a way to transmit electrical energy wirelessly. His goal was for everyone in the world to have access to energy, preferably for free. Tesla's experiments in this area, which led to the remote control, which he presented at Madison Square Garden controlling a small boat at a distance, were the first step towards the creation of the technology that would lead to Wi-Fi. The problem is that only low powers could be transmitted. Transmitting higher power would produce high-intensity magnetic fields, dangerous to humans. But Tesla didn't give up. He spent everything he had and 4 years later, in the face of failure, had a nervous breakdown from which he never recovered. For conspiracy theory enthusiasts, there are rumors that he was persecuted by owners of the large electrical energy groups and was silenced forever, preventing energy from being shared among all people in a free and abundant manner. The inventor died on January 7, 1943, in the suite 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel, on the 33rd floor. He had an obsession with the number 3 and its multiples. Poor, he spent his last years living in the hotel suite thanks to his friend Westinghouse. And did you already know the incredible trajectory of Nikola Tesla? Definitely, he was one of those people who dreamed big but woke up early to chase his dreams. So if you like this content, leave a like on this video to reach more people. And if you're interested in learning more about the lives of ordinary people who became real-life heroes, subscribe to our channel to receive our next episodes. The hero's journey ends here. Until next time.